Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Big up your damn selves in the building. Make sure you smash up the likes every single damn time and subscribe if you are new. Chelsea versus Liverpool preview, the big game, Carabao Cup final. It doesn't get more important this season so far than this. And there's a lot to get through, so we're just going to get straight into it. Starting off with the presser, obviously we have quotes from Gusto. Pochettino speaking on the importance of this final for him, his coaching staff, the magnitude of it, and the willingness to win, of course, which you have to say in this position. You don't speak on competing. You don't speak on, you know, having a day out and enjoying the occasion. You speak on winning because that's all that matters in finals. And I truly do believe that. When people criticize our Champions League wins, I say, regardless of whether you think we were the best team in Europe or we played the best football, which you don't, most of the rivals, it is irrelevant because it's about winning. It's about putting up numbers. It's about putting up stats on Wikipedia. It's not about, you know, putting in performances and then nothing to tangibly take from it. So I don't care about the performance in a final. I care about lifting the trophy. Obviously, there's certain things that we feel we'll speak about tactically in the team that will hopefully gear us into a performance that leads to winning. But if they have to get it in a last minute winner with no real, I guess, no real reason to say they deserved it, but they got it, then we'll take it. Here's what it is. We want to win. So Gusto's quotes, following on from Disasi's quotes that we spoke on earlier on in the week from last week, seeing some nice, leadership traits coming through. I mean, it's early days and early doors for these players. A trophy helps that. I truly believe you can't really lead a team of this magnitude, a club of this magnitude, should I say, if you haven't won. Without being disrespectful, I bring Harry Maguire into this conversation, takes the armband at Manchester United, no real, winning resume, no real, winning history to come and lead a group of players, to lead big characters, big names coming from Real Madrid in Varanes and Casemiros. If you want to be a leader, if you want to have leadership traits, I think you've got to have won, especially at clubs like this, like I said, and Gusto and Disasi and these guys, it's very important that they win here. In particular, yes, this trophy is not massive, but it helps. It's a start. It's a step by step. And I think the leadership will then come out. I think the confidence, not even arrogance, but the confidence and the power comes with winning, comes with being there and done it. And that's why this game's massive for this group, because we never know what leadership springboards from a match like this to go into the future in the coming years. So I think it's great to see the quotes. He's talking about having to win a trophy in Gusto. He wants to win a trophy. We have to win a trophy for the club, for the magnitude, for the importance that it will do for the group. Speaking on his love for Chelsea, even his family as well, when we last won the Champions League, speaking on how much he enjoyed it, how much it meant to him and his dad, which is great to see. And like I said, speaking on Reece James and speaking on his decision-making, and he spoke on it previously about coming here and not being an understudy and not thinking about Reece James's, yes, his quality, and paying respects to him to say, I don't want to see him injured, I don't want him out, but I didn't come here to play games. I didn't come here to be an understudy. I came here to compete, to play, regardless of whether Reece James is fit or not. And that's why I threw up the kind of option earlier in the week of maybe a 3 at the back situation with Reece at right centre back and Gusto at right wing back. Some of you have said Gusto at left back and Reece James at right back. I truly believe there could be a scenario and situation where this team has the both of them in there. And I'm sure Liverpool fans will think similar coming into this game. Trent's not available, but in the long term, you want to see a Trent and a Bradley play together, because if Bradley's going to be this good for Liverpool at right back in the last few months, weeks, then how can you take him out the team? So maybe Trent does go into midfield. Maybe Reece goes into midfield. I don't know. You just got to find a way to get your best players on the pitch. And I think Gusto is now becoming one of our best players. Pochettino did speak on the goalkeeping situation. I personally don't think it's a discussion. It won't be in the lineups for the predicted for Poch and for mine. Petrovic plays. Sanchez wasn't on the bench against Manchester City. I don't think there's any reason to worry or to fear any change here. It would be ludicrous for me. And yeah, obviously Pochettino spoke about the history of losing, and we know our record with 5 Wembley finals in a row lost. We know Pochettino's record at Tottenham with finals and with semi-finals. We know his last coming together with Klopp in a Champions League final, our last coming together with Liverpool in a Super Cup, UEFA Super Cup final. It's all L's, it's all revenge plotting. Let's go and get some, credibility back in the bank. Let's go and get rid of this bottling gene that is not only surrounding now the manager, but it's surrounded our team as well and our club for the last few Wembley visits. So I don't need to go into more detail about how important this is. You know how important it is. I know how important it is. I'm desperate to win it in any way, but obviously the preference would be in a good way. And we know from top to bottom how important this is for everybody at the club, from leadership, level and board members to managers to players to everyone. So fans. So what I want to do is go straight into our teams before I go and give you the Wembley perspective. My team versus Poch's expected team. Now, I think the two big question marks is Thiago Silva's fitness. It was kind of spoken on Poch that he kind of says that Thiago Silva's in contention. We're monitoring him. We'll see what happens. I personally don't want him starting this game. I know that he's got intangibles to maybe bring from a personality leadership standpoint, but for me, I think the quality that we've shown in game, tactically keeping ourselves compact, having a bit of a high line, which I don't really encourage having a high line against Liverpool. But if we are going to press Liverpool on a big Wembley pitch, we're going to need to squeeze up a little bit. We can't sit on our 6-yard box and just defend because we don't want to leave space. We can't be over aggressive and play on the halfway line. I think there's got to be a medium here. But as the game goes, we drop, we move up. We need to have the versatility. And I think, Colwell and Disasi were so good against City. The defensive performance was fantastic. We were unified. We were resolute. I think we have to stick with that. The whole back four has to stay the same for me and the keeper. Enzo and Caicedo in midfield. Gallagher in the 10. Maybe some will disagree. I think most will get the logic behind that. It's a big pitch. It's a back and forth potential game. It's going to be exhausting. There's going to be energy exuded. There might be extra time. Gallagher can do the kilometres. He's got to be on that pitch for me. And he's added some goals in recent weeks. And then obviously on the right, Palmer, because of the relationship with Gusto. On the left, I've got Jackson and I've got an Nkunku up front. Now, it's tough because Nkunku's not a striker. I'm going to say it again. And I think we put ourselves in a precarious position. I've said that before, with Jackson now becoming more of a winger, which I think suits him. But it means that you don't have an out-and-out striker. Now, the question mark over Sterling, I don't mind if Sterling starts because I think he played great against City in terms of his, back and forth with Walker. Obviously scored his goal. Still could have scored another one. Jackson as well could have scored, but positive performances, especially I think off the ball, because the question mark over Sterling has been your defensive commitment. Are you going to track your runners? You didn't track Bradley at Anfield. We paid the price. But everybody off the ball was brilliant against City. So it's a hot and cold situation with Sterling. You don't know what you're going to get. Are you going to get someone like a menace who dribbles past his players, can score a goal and tracks back? Or are you going to get someone who's lazy, doesn't track his runners, and is frustrating in terms of his decision-making? We don't know. Now, for me, Nkunku's our best finisher. It's a final. We could lean towards that way, press with a 2 with him and Gallagher, keep Palmer on the right, and keep him close to Gusto and in his best position with Jackson, who's more likely to give you tracking back on Bradley and give you that work rate. Or you could risk it. And in Pochettino's team, I think Nkunku will be on the bench, which I don't think is a disgrace because Nkunku's not potentially at his sharpest. And he could come off the bench in extra time. And obviously then you go to a Sterling, Jackson, Palmer front three. But what way will that look for Poch? Is he going to play Palmer as a 10? Sorry, as a striker, but as a 10, him and Gallagher pressing as a 2, with Sterling on the right and Jackson on the left. And maybe that helps Sterling's defensive deficiencies or unpredictability because you've got Gusto behind him who's been better this season than Chilwell, so maybe doesn't need as much protection. And on top of that, if Salah plays, Salah is a bigger threat than Diaz, it goes without saying. So again, Bradley and Salah on that side is probably more dangerous than, Diaz and Robertson or Gomez. They're still good players, but Gomez is not scored yet for Liverpool. You'd say that Bradley's better going forward. So it's tough. There's a lot of tactical battles here. He could play Sterling on the left, Jackson up front, and Palmer on the right. Or he could do what I said just prior. I don't know. It's a flip of a coin. I think that's the decision tactically he's going to be faced with, more so than Silva, more so than the goalkeeper. I think whether he plays Sterling on the right or on the left, which will then have a ricochet effect on the other forwards, I think that's what is going to be the most interesting thing about the lineup. I do think Nkunku will be on the bench. But like I said, you could play him and you could play Jackson on the wing and you could have them interchanging. I think off the ball, you've got Jackson on the left wing spot tracking Bradley. On the ball, maybe you have Nkunku just drifting in the left half space with Gallagher in the right half space, Palmer doing what he does, kind of moving in those areas as well. And then you've got Jackson up front because we know him, back to play, he's better. I'd say he's more comfortable now playing as a striker than Nkunku is, and Nkunku you want to see in the game a bit more. So they could interchange. There's a lot going on there. You let me know in the comments down below what your team is. I've kind of gone through, I think, everything that can come up in this game tactically. And yeah, that's the situation. Now, let's go to Matisse at Wembley because he's talking to Drifty, Liverpool fan from the Coppish, and I want to see what they've got to say.
Yes, people, so opposition analysis time with my brother Drifty here at Wembley Way. It's a beautiful day, I lie. The clouds are forming and it's looking like a long day, so we're gonna get a move on. Before we get into this, bro, how are you even feeling? We're here, we're getting closer to the final now. It's a couple of days out. It's the clock farewell. How are you feeling about all this?
Well, the countdown's emotional still. Yeah, the countdown's emotional. If I'm being honest with you, I'm not ready for it. I don't want it. I'm waiting to wake up and it was all a lie. You know what I mean? Even all this like Xabi news, I'm like, I can't even get happy about it because Klopp's going. It's going to be mad emotional. I don't know if you've seen when he left Dortmund.
Oh, I saw.
Yeah, it's going to be like that times 10.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not ready for it. But, being here, it feels real now, the cup final, do you know what I mean? Time to get it on. Yeah, time to get it on.
100%. I think coming into this game, obviously Liverpool, there is injuries. Chelsea, there's injuries. We're having a bit of a face-off on Twitter. Who's got the most injuries? People are running lists. People are stacking up the lists and comparing, putting up lineups. But it's still Liverpool. And I think the culture and the commitment runs through the whole squad. That's clear. When Elliott steps in, he does a job. When Gomez steps in, he does a job. Tsimikas has done a job previously as well. Kwanzaa, all these guys. So even if it is an injury-stricken team, like, what's the confidence levels coming in here? Because people have said that, okay, maybe you're not massive favourites anymore, but like, do you guys still see yourselves as this is like you're expected to handle business and you're expected to win? And if you don't, is that an embarrassment? Is that a shock? Like, how would that feel?
Based on Chelsea's recent form, it definitely wouldn't be an embarrassment because other than the Wolves defeat, you lot have been playing a lot better now. I was even saying to you off camera, like, your season is very reminiscent to the first year at Tottenham that Poch had. And I think if you stick with him, he will turn it around and he'll be a brilliant manager for you lot in the long run. So I wouldn't call it embarrassing, but obviously, here's the thing, I don't even think we're favourites based on the injuries. I don't want to do the whole, we're crying about injuries, because I get it, you have got a lot of injuries. Newcastle, there are teams in the league, Man United, who've had bare injuries throughout the season. But what's crazy is all of these injuries have seemed to have just come all at the same time. I think if Mo doesn't play, if Núñez doesn't play, which are 50-50 at the moment, and we literally have the exact team that played Luton, Chelsea are a much better team than Luton. Therefore, that first half against Luton
is not going to run.
It's not going to run against Chelsea. You lot might go 2-3-0 up if we have that same first half. It's Wembley. Hopefully we'll be up for it. I'm hoping what we can do is utilise the bigger pitch. I think we have the better team for the bigger pitch because we've got the quicker defenders that can deal with the bigger pitch. Which could help. But then again, I'm not going to lie, Sterling and Jackson are rapid though. So it ain't like we can play games with that. Do you know what I mean? Look what Sterling did to Man City the other day. I don't think we're favourites anymore based on the injuries. I think it's 50-50 now. If Mo and Núñez don't play, I think it's a 50-50 game. I do, because they are our game changers. They are obviously Jota missing, Trent missing, Jones missing, Szoboszlai. Like I'm naming Alisson. I'm naming all the guys who go straight into the team. Like, these aren't squad players. These are actually all first team players. And even though our squad is brilliant, Chelsea, they're a good team. I think it's 50-50. I do. I think it's got. I think we went from favourites 3 or 4 weeks ago, when we had our squad ready, to now. Even if Jota was fit, I would say we're favourites. But with all of those injured, I would say it's 50-50 at the moment.
Obviously, we know your thoughts on Klopp and his legendary status and where he's at now. But Pochettino, causing a bit of a frenzy in our fan base, and obviously now you have an outside perspective, which I want to get, because you guys are a club that have given patience and time to managers. I always think it's a bit of a cop-out when managers use your example, like, look, Klopp got time, so I can get time. I'm like, you're not Klopp. And you're not Klopp, and we don't have Edwards, and it's not like the recruitment is, you know, synced up, and we're not seeing Gallagher on the transfer list in January, which player you want to keep. So it's not exactly the same situation, top to bottom, in terms of the running of the machine. But what is your take on Pochettino? Because he's under a lot of pressure coming into this game. We know he's been unanimously kind of labelled as a bottler in this country, not having won a trophy yet. The pressure's going to be on him to deliver that, especially with the team in mid-table. And it is European football that we do need as well, even though it's only the conference. Like, what's your outside perspective on Poch?
I'm a Poch guy. Like, I've always been a Poch guy. Like, I think he's a wicked manager. I can't defend a few of the mad things he's been doing. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he's been moving a bit mad at Chelsea. But as I said a little while ago, I think there are some similarities to his first season at Tottenham. But your team is more chaotic than the Tottenham team was. When he went into that Tottenham team, he had a few bad apples he had to get rid of. And then once he got rid of those bad apples, then he got everybody into what he needed to do. Whereas with you lot, it's been mad chaotic, and he hasn't really been allowed to pick the players. It was more, you know, the board that were picking the players and all that kind of stuff. So he's had more to deal with at Chelsea. Again, not defending some of the crazy things he's done, because he has done a few mad things. But I think he is a very, very good manager. And it's I'm somebody who really tries to not do recency bias with things when it comes to players, managers, whoever. I don't look at the last couple of months and forget what they've done prior. You know, a lot of people do that. Like, look at Poch now and they'll judge him now when everybody thought he was good in the summer. You're just going to change your mind now. It's even Ten Hag, for example. That's why I haven't fully gone, he's not a good manager. I saw what he did at Ajax. You can't just forget that because he's been bad at Man United. Like, if he continues it for another 3-4 years, you'll be like, oh yeah, cool. But not just in the short turnaround. So for me, Poch is still the guy. I think Chelsea stick with him 100%. I think he's perfect at working with younger players. I think it's hard to get what he wants, and I think that's why it takes a lot of time. He might not be as good as Pep, but I think it's harder for players to understand what Poch wants than Pep. And look, it takes a year at City for players to get what they want. It takes 6 months to a year at Liverpool usually to get what Klopp wants. Poch is kind of the same, but maybe it's a little bit more difficult. He's a bit more intricate. He likes to have all these little finer details in the things that he does. I think you stick with him. I think he wins you a major trophy in the next 2 years if you stick with him. I do. I think he'll win the Europa League, or he'll win you the FA Cup, or like, he'll win you one of the bigger trophies if you stick with him. Not the Premier League, that's obvious. City are probably going to continue to keep winning that. Arsenal are thereabouts now. Don't know what we'll be like if we'll win it now or if we'll win it in the future. But I think you would definitely win trophies under Poch. I mean, flipping out, you might win one already.
I would love.
You might already.
I would love to say on Sunday that, you know, we can say that we've won this purely because I need expressions to hold that. I need tapping toes to hold that. What about the squad? Because obviously, when you're mid-table, everybody has to take responsibility. Is there Chelsea players that right now you're looking at? Well, obviously, we did a combined 11 on your channel. Is there like Chelsea players that you're looking at thinking they could still hurt Liverpool? Like, these guys still cause problems. The Enzos, the Caicedos, or is it more of a case of you guys, if you just don't turn up, then our guys can perform? Or do you think even if you're at your best, that there's guys that you're looking at thinking, even at our best, these guys can still hurt us? Yeah,
there's loads, bro. And that's the crazy thing about why you was so weird about how you lot underperforming. Sterling on his day could hurt anybody. Jackson showed against Man City, like, he's got that link-up play and he is a very skillful player. His finishing isn't quite there, but he's a very skillful player, getting in and about. He's the type of striker as well that I don't necessarily think big, strong defenders like to play against. Because we want, this might sound stupid, but Haaland and players like that, Virg loves all that.
Yeah, he does.
He loves all of that. But he don't like them nippy little players that are going to do the little, you know what I mean? The dropping deep and the little 1-2s. And Jackson's a little bit like that. So he definitely could cause a bit of problem. And Nkunku did. He came on for 5 minutes at Anfield, scored a brilliant individual goal, showed his quality. So definitely Palmer, brilliant player, can hurt us on any given day. If you get a penalty, I know who'll score it. Gallagher, he's a little energizer, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. His energy would actually be a Klopp. Like Klopp would love that type of energy in the midfield. Like real talk.
Second coming to Henderson.
Yeah, I know his overall quality isn't the type of player that you'll be like, yeah, he should play for England, you know, and he should start for Chelsea. I get that. But if you actually look at every team he's been at, there's a reason why every manager has loved him. Because he is a manager's dream. He takes all the instructions you give him, he fulfills everything he's asked of, he never stops running, and he's got a goal in him. Look what he did to Villa. He's got a goal in him. Like, so I still look at him and think, well, we got to keep an eye on Gallagher. We do. Caicedo and Enzo, not even so much because they're a lot deeper. And you know what I mean? And I don't think they're a goal for it. But in terms of controlling the game, Enzo controlled the game at Stamford Bridge when we played you lot. So I can't just act like he's not capable of doing it. And Gusto at right back, he's been looking like a very good creative threat from right back. So there's definitely players in that Chelsea team that I look at and I go, on any given day, at any given time, they can hurt us. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be ignorant or arrogant about it just because we're top of the league and all that stuff. Like, I'm going into this game probably as apprehensive as you are.
That's mad.
Honestly,
that's a lot of apprehension.
Yeah, bruv, I am. And again, like I said, if Szoboszlai and Jones and Salah and Nunes and Jota, if all these men will fit, I'll be like, yeah, it's gonna be smoky.
It's gonna be a long day.
It's gonna get smoky. It's gonna get smoky, bro. But they're not. So I can't. Like, I've just got to be real. We got winners in our team still. But the Chelsea team does worry me. I'm 50-50, bro. I'm proper 50-50 on this one.
You know what? One thing I will say: if this goes to penalties again, we got two experts in penalties in Kelleher, and Petrovic has been really good for us as well.
Petrovic is a beast at penalties.
That's the only thing we know.
Saved more than he's let in or something like that. That's wild.
So, so if it goes that way, then again it's going to be tense. It's going to be a lot of drama. Before I let you go, bro, what's your score prediction for this?
I'm going for. I've got to stick by my boys. 2-1.
Okay, that's what I'm going 2-1 for my boys as well. We got to back our boys on the final day. I
got penalties though, you know.
If it does, I'm gonna do a Klopp. I'm gonna look over. I'm not doing it.
I think it might go penalties, bro. But I'm gonna go 2-1. I'm gonna go 2. You lot will definitely get a goal, I think.
You will get a goal.
2-1. I'm gonna go 2-1. I'm gonna go. Yeah. I hope so. Anyway.
No, you will. You will.
No extra time either. We played a lot of football already, man. We got an FA Cup game on Wednesday.
So do we. So do we.
Yeah, bro. No extra time. No extra. I mean, needed if we're losing and we get that equaliser. But yeah, let's get this one in the 90, please, Liverpool, please.
I hear that. Well, guys, listen. Make sure you go and check out Drifty on his channel, Coppish, with the boys there. And yeah, man. Listen, it's gonna be a big game. It's gonna be a struggle. Make sure you subscribe. Link in the description. And we'll see what happens. The days are coming closer now. The clouds are forming. The rain is arising, and I think Wembley is ready. Do you know what I'm saying? They're ready. It's looking good. So yeah, until the rest of the preview, big up. Come on.
Peace.
Well, there you have it. We're back. We've heard what they had to say at Wembley from the reporting. Well done on that one. Definitely not me over there. But yeah. Now you've got all the perspectives. You've got the Liverpool perspective. You've got my perspective. You've got your teams. You've got your tactics. You've got your mood and emotions coming into the game. I think that's pretty damn good. I don't know how long it's taken because we'll see when it comes out. But I think that's a good preview. So it's a big game. If you haven't seen it already, we had a combined 11, which definitely got the comments going. That's for sure. So check that out. We've also got a skit for this game as well. Therapy session. I had to go and see a therapist about our Wembley record. So if you haven't checked that out, go and check that out. Plenty of content in the build-up for this game if you haven't seen it already. It's 3 videos now. I think that's enough. We have a watch-along, so make sure you tune in as well on Premier League, Arsenal versus Newcastle, and then we will see you for the watch-along against Liverpool on Sunday, the final, and followed by the review. And that's it. That's enough content for you. I think you've got more than enough to chew on there. So big up your damn selves as always. Make sure you smash up the like, subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in a bit. Big up your damn selves in a bit, people. Peace. La 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 la